There was a 3-month grace period allowed, where if you incurred medical expenses in the 3 months following to your election year, you were allowed to bring them back to the previous year. You now have a choice of one or the other. But why I like the $500 rollover is I'd like to see more people participating in the flex spending account. Everyone is going to have out-of-pocket expenditures with healthcare. But employees were hesitant to enroll in the use it or lose it because they were in the flex spend because they were afraid of this use it or lose it. This allows people to get their feet wet, your employees to get their feet wet. They can elect the $500. If they don't use it in that year, they can at least roll it over and they don't have to make an election the next year. But I think what will happen is employees will start to see, well, gee, I have more than 500 expenses. Next year I might increase my election to 1,000. So this is helping employees get over that hump of the use it or lose it and allowing them to take advantage. And the advantage of the flex spending is the money that you set aside is all pre-tax for use for covered eligible medical expenses.
How about HSAs? Any changes with those?
No change in those.
So you can still carry those forward?
Yep.
With no.
So all your level in your HSA accounts you can carry forward and use them for eligible medical expenses. Mm-hmm. And you're going to see the bronze plans essentially are your HSA plans. So when you're taking a look at your metallic levels, that's what you're going to look at if you're interested in offering an HSA.
Diane?
Mm-hmm.
In the, I know you can't have an HSA in an individual plan, right? But in company plans on the exchange, are they offering are they offering out-of-network coverage? It seemed to me, I went on the exchange and just thought, let me just noodle around. I just want to see what it looks like.
So you're one of the healthcare.gov?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I looked. And it looked to me like they were all either managed care or EPOs. I didn't see anything that had an out-of-network benefit.
In bronze level?
In any level.
I haven't spent time on the exchange because I don't have the spare time to fool around with all. It's difficult to maneuver through there. I know in the group market, right? I don't know. I'll find out. It depends. There are not many. I mean, in the silver, probably not even in silver, gold and platinum. And there's not a significant choice. Just so you understand, Horizon, if you went 2 years ago, offered 100 plans. Last year they had 30, and now they have 10. So the choices have really slimmed down, and that's part of what you're seeing with respect to cost as well. Your options have really been reduced, and there are some out-of-network plans, but they are hard to come by and they are costly now.
Part of
But
the consolidation wasn't just compliance with these provisions, or at least one provision in particular was to lower their administrative costs.
yes.
Right? So they could fit it to the 80-20 rule.
Right. So you have Horizon in particular, who happens to be the biggest carrier in New Jersey right now. They had a huge problem with their HMO plans. So they had to migrate them all into EPO plans because they had to give a lot of company groups refunds because they weren't meeting that 80% MLR, which means only 20% of what they collect could be used for administrative. They were over that, had to issue refunds. So in order to solve that problem, they condensed the whole group into one risk portfolio. Yes, Norman.
I've heard that they're going to be, pretty much just eliminate. You can't even have it anymore. The husband-wife groups.
All right, I'm going to get to that because that just came out this week. Those interpretations, those regulations, and interpretations of those rules. That is true. So we're going to talk about what your options are with respect to that.
Just ask one quick. EPO.
Yes.
That means you have to stay in network. Is that what that means?
Every carrier has a different, uses the same term, but uses it differently. So Horizon has an EPO. It is essentially what we used to know as an HMO. Okay, so it's in-network only. However, Horizon does have an option where they have what they call Blue Card. You can add the Blue Card to your HMO plan and or your EPO plan and essentially get coverage nationally just with Blue Card providers. So you get national access to the Blue Card network with inside New Jersey, only Blue Card. So you basically get the national Blue Card access. Most of the other carriers' EPO plans are in-network or in the service area. So you really do have to check. They do EPO, they do EPO plus. Each of them names them a little different. So they might have just New Jersey. It might be New Jersey and the surrounding service area. But typically it's not out of network, and typically it's not national access unless they say so. So that's kind of what the plan designs are. It's New Jersey only, New Jersey plus the surrounding service area. So that might include New York. It might include some Pennsylvania. And then you've got those that include Horizon with a national access only Horizon, or national access without a network.
So if you don't choose to add this blue card or whatever, and you have a trip and you get sick on the trip, you're not covered?
Emergency is always covered as in-network, but it has to be a true emergency where you are rushed to a hospital, have no other alternatives. You could fight with them over it, but that's what they mean by emergency. But if you are out of state and have an emergency, it would be covered as an in-network benefit for any of these carriers where you just have in New Jersey or in-network services. All right, the adjusted community rating. How many of you have a January 1 renewal? Okay, but you're a large group, so you haven't seen it as much. And I'm going to show you a slide to show the difference between small group versus large group and the impact. They've reduced the rating factors to 3 things. Enrollment as an individual or a family, so the number of persons in your member group will determine your premium. Age and your geographic region. And let me just move to the next slide to show you what I mean here. Each employee's rate incorporates the rate of the individual and all the members covered as dependents. Okay? So if you are, let me go to the next slide just so we can see. Here is the rate table. All right, so the rates are age banded. Rates 20 and under are all the same. So every individual in your plan that's 20 and under is going to get charged the same rate. And this is just an example. There's a rate sheet for every plan in every geographic area for every carrier. So this is just an example of one. Between the ages of 20 and 59, everybody has their own rate based on their age. So obviously the rate's increasing with age. When you get to 59, everyone 59 and above has the same rate as well. Okay. Now the way the rates for an employee, you must add the rate for each member of your group. I just want to go back to this slide as far as what is impacting rating now that we're looking at adjusted community rating. It's the age, okay? It's the number of members in your family. So every member of your family is going to be charged a rate. So those that have larger families are going to be seeing a significant rate change because they're going to be charged for each member of the family. If you remember before, we had 4 rates. We had a single rate, husband and wife, parent, child, family. If you were a family of 3 and you were a family of 5, you were both paying the same. Not anymore. Okay. Now some people think that's fair. Obviously those that have 3 and not 5 think it's now fair, but that's what we're going to see. There's no separate rate bands for gender. We did have a separate rate band for gender in New Jersey where women were charged a risk adjustment factor. That's no longer gone. No rate for tobacco use. There's also no risk adjustment. There used to be a risk adjustment factored into the calculation of your plan. Richer plans will get a higher risk adjustment because naturally the insurance carrier has greater exposure for out-of-pocket in a richer plan. So there was a risk factor charged to those kind of plans. So now those plans are seeing actually less of an increase than some of the others.
Do you know why they eliminated the rate for tobacco use? It's a very big
I know
factor.
it's
Huge.
I don't really know the rationale behind it. I wish I had an answer.
Promoting
But
tobacco use will help healthcare in the U.S., I guess.
And it's only in New Jersey. Every state got to decide themselves what factors they were going to be.
I could see
So it
North
was
Carolina or something.
right.
Not New Jersey.
It's very surprising to me that they chose not to use it, but it is not built into the factor.